this is going to be a tool that you can keep in your tool belt for whenever you want to make a decision, to make sure you're doing the right thing, and to following your highest calling as opposed to living out of fear. You imagine yourself standing on a path, and in front of you there are 50 different paths that you can go down. How do you choose which one to go down? So if everyone can just sit up straight or stand straight or wherever they're at and take a nice deep breath. And when you exhale, just exhale out anything that's not necessary. And inhale all the light, love, and peace in the world. It's a lot of light. And exhale anything that is not needed right now. And then feel free to breathe however you feel called to. Now, I'd like you to, in your mind's eye, imagine a window. And you're sitting by a window, and outside of the window is the most beautiful scene that you've ever seen in your entire life. You're on a couch or a comfortable chair, and you're looking out this window. The breeze is coming in. It's the perfect temperature. Everything's perfect. You're feeling a little bit of goosebumps on your arms raise up. And so you look down at your arm, and you look down at your hand, and you realize you have a very beautifully well-aged hand. You're 98 years old, and it's your last day on this earth in this body. As you realize that there's only a day or less than a day left of you living, you start to think back on your life. You think fondly about all the people you've met, about all the experiences you've had, that time you went out and explored and went out of your comfort zone, that time that you went out of your comfort zone to express something to someone you cared about. Sure, there are some things that you regret, but you lived a beautiful, full life of amazing experiences, just such wonderful experiences that you felt. And as you start thinking back, you're thinking like, wow, this has been a full, amazing, incredible life. And even though it was so incredible, I wish I could just go back one more time. It would be amazing to be able to go back. I'm 98 right now. I wish I could go back 20 years into the past when I was 78, just a young little whippersnapper, 78 years old. And I wish I could go back 30 years ago to when I was 68 years old. What would I do if I was 30 years younger at 68 years old? And what would I do maybe if I was 58 years old, 40 years ago? Think about what I was doing back then. God, so much I've learned since then. If I could go back, that'd be amazing. I'm 98 right now. What if I could go, let's jump 50 years ago to when I was 48. Let's jump 60 years ago to when I was 38. Or 70 years ago to when I was 28. Or even 80 years ago to when I was 18. I just wish I could go back. It would be so nice to just go back one more time. What would I do differently? What would I change? And, I don't want to be focused on that too much because there's only 2 hours left that I'm here on this planet. And I'm so grateful. And so many beautiful things have happened. But this life is such an incredible, magical gift. It's so incredible that I was even born. So many millions of things had to align perfectly for me to even be alive right now. And I'm appreciating this very exact moment with 1 hour left to live, looking around, seeing the beauty in the moment, appreciating the outside and the beautiful breeze coming in. But for some reason, I do wish I could just go back one more time because I would just make a few changes. I'd do a few things differently, and I would really experience that moment and just connect with the people and connect with nature and be there. I wish I could go back. I wish I could go back. I wish I could go back. Open your eyes. Your wish has been granted. And so I want to thank you for doing this little exercise with me. I think the main thing is that if we have this tool in our tool belt, then at any moment we can consult with our 98-year-old self and we can say, 98-year-old self, what should I do in this moment to not be operating out of fear? Or, I need to do this so that I can make money instead of the thing that I really want to be doing. Or what can I do to really enjoy this moment and say the thing that might be uncomfortable right now but has more meaning? at the end of my life. And it's just basically a way to look at our lives from the end, which always hindsight is 2020.
I think this is huge. I mean, this is something that I do in some of my circles and stuff. And I think having that end point in mind, having that mortality, right? Knowing that we're not going to be here forever. It's a great way to keep yourself in check in the way I like to use it, because it's a great way to like keep the ego in check, keep like, hey, what's really more valuable? What's really, what's more important at this moment? What's going to give you more of what you're going to get out of life at 98, when you're at 98 looking back. I love it, man. I think it's a game changer. I think it's really good to, look from that perspective in so many ways. So appreciate you taking us, the listeners and everybody, through it. I'm stoked. I'm like, all right, cool. When you were counting, I'm like 98. Yeah, I want to get to 100. So I'm like 98. That's good. Then I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to be almost 40 in a few years. I'm like, I'm almost halfway. Then I'm like, I got time. Then I'm like, you know what though? And then you start reflecting. You're like, okay, all right, what would I be saying now? What I should be focusing on? It just gets me, at least me, in that moment where I'm like, all right, what do I need to do that's going to add more value and do more things in that way?